In remote regions of the world, animals that were long thought to be extinct or had never been found are remaining hidden. In this video, I present 7 species that may never have truly disappeared. The last example could challenge everything we think we know about nature and history. Be sure to watch the other videos as well if this topic fascinates you as much as it fascinates us. Number 7. Japanese Serow. The Japanese serow was long considered a spirit of the mountains, a goat or antelope that, according to legend, existed only in old tales. This elusive creature, with its shaggy fur and curved horns, lived in the forested mountains of Honshu, where it had been considered extinct for centuries. But in the mid-20th century, sightings began to occur. Forest rangers, farmers, and hikers described strange animals that looked like goats, but moved in a completely different way. In the 1980s, it was finally confirmed. The Japanese serow still exists, but it lives in such remote forests that for decades it had simply escaped notice. Today, it is officially considered safe, but its case shows how easily we can overlook even the largest mammals, and that sometimes myths have real origins. Number 6. The Iriomote leopard cat. This extremely rare feline lives only on the small subtropical island of Iriomote in Japan. For a long time, it was unclear whether it was a distinct species or just a subspecies of the Bengal cat. The fact is, it was observed so rarely that for many years it was widely believed to be extinct until it was finally scientifically described in the 1960s. Since then, its documentation and recorded observations have not improved much. Its strictly nocturnal habits, the island's dense and tangled rainforest, and its naturally shy nature make it almost completely invisible. Camera traps only very rarely provide images, and sightings by people are still extremely rare. Meanwhile, the island has become heavily populated. Roads and infrastructure threaten its habitat. Some experts believe that the Iriomote cat is no longer able to survive in the wild. Others hope that a few individuals are still hiding in the mountain forests, a true ghost suspended between life and disappearance. Number 5. The Billy Ape. For a long time, it was considered a myth, a giant ape, larger than chimpanzees but with characteristics of gorillas. The local inhabitants of the Democratic Republic of the Congo called it the Bondo mystery ape, or simply the giant of the jungle. Scientists regarded these stories as legends until in the early 2000s, bones, droppings, and finally even photographs came to light. The Billy ape really does exist. Genetically, it is a chimpanzee, but its behavior is distinctly different. It often moves on 2 legs, builds nests on the ground similar to those of gorillas, and actively avoids humans. Males can exceed 1.80 meters in height. The fascinating thing is that the Billy ape was only scientifically recognized in the 21st century. For decades, it was ignored, despite being a great ape. Its example shows just how little we truly understand even about the most well-known animal groups and how many new species are still waiting in the shadows. Number 4. Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus was one of the largest relatives of crocodiles in Earth's history, reaching up to 12 meters in length, with a skull larger than that of a Tyrannosaurus. It lived about 80 million years ago in North America and probably even hunted dinosaurs. What is an animal like this doing on a list of potentially living species? From time to time, people from swampy regions of the United States, particularly Louisiana, Florida, and Texas, report having seen gigantic alligators or crocodiles, twice the size of known species. Some of these accounts come from credible witnesses, biologists, hunters, park rangers. Sonar recordings from the Mississippi also show objects over 10 meters long at depths where no known alligator lives. Of course, it's highly unlikely that a real Deinosuchus has survived, but the existence of a large, unknown relative, an evolutionary echo from the Cretaceous that has persisted in swampy regions, is not impossible, and it's a fascinating thought. Number 3. Arctodus angustidens, the largest bear known in the history of the Earth. Arctodus angustidens lived in South America during the Pleistocene and could weigh over 1,500 kilograms, almost twice as much as a modern grizzly. Its range, as documented by fossils, extends as far as Argentina. However, reports from Patagonia and the Andes suggest something different. For decades, herders, gold prospectors, and locals have spoken of demon bears, huge reddish animals that attack livestock and when standing on their hind legs are said to exceed 3 meters in height. Tracks larger than those of known bears have been found, but no carcasses, no photos. The Andean region is wild, uninhabited, and in many places unexplored. Arctodus was considered extinct, but perhaps an isolated population has survived in the hard-to-reach mountain forests. A living legend from the Ice Age. Number 2. The Cape Lion. The Cape Lion was once commonly widespread in southern Africa, especially in the Cape region of South Africa. It was distinguished by its impressive black mane and large body mass. In the mid-19th century, it was exterminated by colonial hunters, but even today, residents of the border regions between South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana report sightings of lions with unusual coloring, deeply black manes, and larger builds. Some zoos have lions with distinctive, unique genetics that resemble the old descriptions of Cape lions. In 2016, a genetic project was launched that aimed to prove that the genetic heritage of the Cape lion might have survived in some isolated lion lineages, especially in reserves where there has been no hybridization with East African populations. So perhaps the Cape lion is not entirely extinct, but continues to live hidden in the shadows of Africa. Number 1. Mokele Mbembe. In Central Africa, especially in the Republic of the Congo, locals have for generations told stories of a huge herbivorous animal that lives in rivers and swamps. They call it Mokele Mbembe, the one who stops the river. The descriptions are quite similar to those of a sauropod, the long-necked dinosaurs such as Brachiosaurus or Apatosaurus. Over the years, expeditions have collected numerous eyewitness accounts, discovered enormous footprints, and heard stories that are strikingly similar among many different peoples, even though there was no prior Western knowledge of dinosaurs. Critics argue that these are legends or misinterpretations. However, the accuracy of the accounts and the complete absence of Western influence in the regions of origin are surprising. The areas involved, particularly the swampy region of Likwala, are among the least explored places on Earth. Across more than 50,000 square kilometers, there are barely any roads, no aerial surveillance, and little research.